All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Julia Sotas, and thank you to Isha and Chandana for hosting this and inviting me to do this. So today's Friday, December 20th, and I have this big pimple on my head that I can't get rid of. And so I just want to make it known right now because it's going to OCG bother me for the entire call. So just be aware of it and receive from it, enjoy it, and take it in. It's here to contribute to you. Um, and we have Severine from France. That's exciting. So we have more than just India. We have other parts of the world. So welcome. And I'm really, today's topic is something that's really pertinent to me lately. It's something that I've been thinking about a lot, and something that's really started to open up and create a wonderful space in my world. So I really wanted to share it with you guys and see if we can create some change in this area for you, because it is a very freeing area, but also one of the hardest things for most of us to be willing to choose. And it's about being needless. Okay? So what energy, space, consciousness, and choice can you be to be as needless as you truly be for all eternity? And everything that is times a godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, potted pock, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And if you were truly being you, who would you be willing to lose? And everything that is times a godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pot, pock, shorts, boys, and girls. Okay, I have to mention something else. So I slept with a night mask on last night, but it was in this weird pattern, I think, while I slept, and I think I slept on my face. And it's been an hour since I got up because it's the morning here, but this thing will not go away. And it's this Harry Potter scar. It's just hilarious. I can't look at anything else. I had to talk about it before we could move on with
Can
becoming
I
me.
add something really funny to that?
Yeah.
I was raising my upper lip, which I don't generally do, but I had some hair show up and I was getting irritated, so I was raising it and I cut my lip right here.
Oh. I guess it's in the stars. That's so funny. Oh man. So Isha's
That
kind
kind of a
of,
day.
and I've become Harry Potter, a pimply Harry Potter. Um Oh man. All right. So, I had 3 questions sent in for this call. So I will answer those. Where are the questions? Uh-oh. Should have sent them to Isha. Now I can't find them. Okay, well, we'll have to look for those in a second because I can't find them. Does anybody have on the call have questions? No? Oh, dang. I had a wonderful list of wonderful questions. All right, so while we're looking for those, if you were truly okay, needless, okay, most of us are more willing to be needy and to be needed than we are to be needless. And how many people need you to need them that you're not willing to disappoint by being you? And everything that is times a godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pot, pock, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And what do you hate you for that necessitates making you wrong for always? And everything that is times a godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot and pock, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay? So when the thing that keeps people, this is a facilitator note that I would like to share with you guys. As a facilitator, the thing that keeps people away from your classes is the sense of need and the sense of lack in your world. If you had no sense of need and no sense of lack, your classes could have an unlimited number of people. But we limit the amount of people that can show up by the need that we have in our worlds. So everywhere you would rather be dismissed by your need, by choosing to need, and all the jails creating that, the judgments, agendas, inventions, lies, and stratifications, jails is an acronym for that, will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot and pock, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And at what age did you learn how to need? And everything that is, some intense experiences, some intense choices you guys made as little wounds or in past lives. So everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot and pock, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So what do you love about being the most powerless, pathetic piece of shit on planet Earth? And everything that brings up times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot and pock, shorts, boys, and beyond. Being needless is actually, for me, one of the most desirable, wonderful energies on planet Earth. It's an actual specific energy where you have this sense of who you are and where you're going, and it doesn't matter if there's another single person on the planet or a single person who validates you. It doesn't even matter if there's a single person on the planet. It's like it's a space and a reality where nothing that anybody thinks, feels, needs from you, validates you, tells you that you're good, where none of it has any fucking relevance in your life whatsoever. You like move through the world in a totally different way because nothing is required of you in that regard. Okay? So get the energy of that and pull energy through the whole universe and then into that. Add to that and create with that. And while we're here, I want to make a note about pulling energy. I'm seeing a lot of people doing all of these energy pulls all the time. And that's awesome. But pushing energy is actually something that is very important in the creation of your life too. You actually can't just pull to create everything. You have to actually push energy also. Because when you are willing to push energy, you're willing to be present and dominant as you and as your reality with somebody or something else. So it's not just about pulling all the time till your ears fall off. You actually have to be willing to push too. And sometimes you have to be willing to flow and receive. When I flow somebody energy and then receive energy from them, that's actually a place where I'm creating a connection with them and creating a future with them and creating a place where they have a sense of peace with me and a sense of possibilities. So everywhere you have only looked to what you can pull in rather than how you can push energy to create a reality, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, women. So let's practice. Because
Julia.
this is, yes. Hi, Reshma.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Good too. So could you talk a little bit about this pushing thing? Like we've always been like in Access, we talk about how not to push and
Yeah.
and yeah, all of that. So like, could you give us an example where we could use this tool with
Yeah.
respect to
So let
creating?
me give you a story. So I was at Right Voice Facilitator training. Whoops, I've just unplugged my lamp with my foot. There we go. I was at Right Voice for You Facilitator training, and there was a lady who got up on stage to have Chris work with her, and and, you know, get her voice out in the world. And he asked her, she was being mousy, and he asked her to push, to get the energy of who she is as a being and what she knows is the future, and push that energy at the whole audience. And she did it. And then he asked us, what was that like for you when she was pushing that energy at you? And for us, it was wonderful. It was this beautiful, kind, peaceful, healing, wonderful, invitational place. It made me want to take her class or do whatever she was doing. It made me want to be around her. And it has since, even though I didn't know this lady before, it has since created a space of gratitude for me since she pushed that energy at me. So basically, for us, some of us can be really pushy, and it's not from like a wonderful place. It's from like, I need something from you. But it depends what you push. You know, we all talk about our pushy mother-in-laws, and you know, people are pushing at you. Why are you not married? Why are you not having children? Why are you not doing this? And it's like there's pushing all the time. And people think they have a right to push into your world. That is probably, that's coming from a place of need. Need pushes people away. But if you have the energy of who you are as a being and what you are here to contribute and create and be in the world, and you push that, and you push that into the world, and you push that at people when that's the energy that they require, that's going to create something different and possibly something wonderful and amazing. So in Access, in the manuals, we've talked about cheesy car salesmen and pushy people and pushy facilitators. But that's from need. That's not pushing from a generative, nurturing place, which is totally a possibility that I think hasn't been explored a lot. Severine is asking, pushing energy, is it like when you trickle energy in the world? Yeah. It's part of the trickling energy. So when we pull energy and then when we let little trickles out, that is, it's not pushing, it's a different form, it's trickling, but it's sending energy out. Okay, you have pushing, you have flowing. Yeah, somebody's asking. Kanika is asking, what's the difference between pushing and flowing? So flowing is just how you do it. Pushing, you can push generative and nurturing energy. You can flow generative and nurturing energy. You can trickle generative and nurturing energy. It's just the same. It's just all different words for putting your awareness and possibility into the world. Gary says when you're putting on a class, you want to push for the first, don't quote me on this because I can't remember the exacts. I think he said you want to push for the first 2 weeks and pull for the last week. You need to push. You need to say, this is what I'm doing. This is the class I'm doing. This is what I see as possible. Would you like to join me? That can't be done from pulling. Okay? You have to be you in the world. If you're going to be you, you have to be willing to be the dominant species, and you have to be willing to be the one who makes the waves. Okay? But it doesn't mean that you have to do it from talking. It doesn't mean that you have to do it from being needy. It doesn't mean that you have to do it from pushing your lack on somebody. Pushing your lack on somebody is not something that you want to do. Pulling is something that you do want to do. Okay? Pulling and also pushing from the space of you and the space that you know is possible. Please say more about pushing from a generative and nurturing place. Well, what have you decided pushing is that it isn't? It's kind of like deciding that money is bad. Money's not bad. People just do bad things with money. Like right now on this call, what energies am I being? I'm pulling from those of you who desire me to pull. and I'm pushing, I'm being quite intense with my energy and quite forceful, and I'm pushing into some of your world. I'm getting in your world and saying, hey, this is a different possibility. This is a different reality. Please learn this stuff, guys, because it's going to make your life better. I'm pushing. Are you mad at me? Are you angry at me? Or are you grateful that I'm here with this information and I'm giving it to you? I'm pushing it into your world. Okay? So Zeal says, can you explain the same from a creation perspective, like a house? Well, it's like, those things are like, okay, so you want to create a new house. So you get the energy of a house and you pull energy in through the house and through your body. And then you let trickles out to all the people who can assist you in creating that house, or who are looking for your services to help create money for the house, or anybody who is actually willing to be a contribution. And then you can also extend that into the earth. You can receive contribution from the elementals. You can receive contribution from the animals. But none of this works if you do it from, I'm a pathetic piece of shit and I need this. Okay? You can't do it from that. Because if you do it from that, the universe will not respond. The universe does not respond to need, and the universe does not respond to lack. Okay? So everything that I'm telling you has absolutely no possibility if you're doing it from being a pathetic person or being a needy person. And trust me, I know many of you on this call, and a lot of you play pathetic when you are actually the most dominant bitches on the planet. And I mean that for the guys too. You guys are so fucking dominant, and when you do pathetic, it is so awkward to watch. It's so weird. It's like watching a sheep try to climb up a slippery tree. It just like does not work. It's like you're trying to do it and it's like not really working, and it just looks really funny, and everybody just wants to look away because it's just off-putting. Okay? But that is where your need and lack is more valuable to you than this creative place. See, right now, I'm talking about having a creative place. Okay? So these two, you have to be willing to do it from a place of no need and a place of no lack. Okay? So somebody is asking, can you talk a little bit more about pushing from a space of nourishment and consciousness? I mean, I think I have. I think you just have to know, what you are pushing, and trust that you being in the world and being dominant is okay. Do you actually trust yourself enough to be dominant in your point of view? You cannot be dominant in your point of view if you don't have a point of view, or you think that your point of view is a waste of time. Okay? How many of you don't actually trust in what you are creating in your life and creating in the world? How much of it do you think is wrong, and do you constantly second guess? And yeah, then we bring it to another topic. Sanjivani is asking, what's the difference between being dominant and wanting to be right? It's a good question. It's an excellent question. Because when you need to be right, you actually don't have a trust of what you're creating. You don't even care about what you're creating. You can say you care about what you're creating, but what you care about is being right. So you have to let go of being right in order for all of this to even work. So you have some prerequisites here, folks, to effectively do what I'm talking about. That being said, if you don't have all your ducks in a row, it doesn't, you don't have to be totally unwilling to be right, or willing to not be right, and you don't have to be totally needless, and you don't have to be totally generative, and it's okay. You got to start from where you are, and you're not wrong. I mean, you guys are really weird and fucking really different if you're even listening to me right now. You have a different reality, and you have a different point of view, and you have a different set of possibilities. Okay? So it's like you are an amazing being, but you keep hurting yourself. You keep hurting yourself by needing to be right. You're like predators in the forest. You're like the lions or the tigers. You're the lions, but instead of actually being the lion you keep saying, I'm a pathetic gazelle. The gazelles get eaten by the lions. I'm a pathetic gazelle, and you keep like gnawing into like your fur, and then it's like getting infected, and you're just this like weakly little creature like running around, when what you actually are as a being is this ferocious lion. And people who are actually creating more are like, ew, get away from me, you pathetic gazelle who keeps eating your own flesh. What are you even doing that for? That's absolutely pointless, you insane boob. And they know that you're a lion. You know that you're a lion. You know that this whole gazelle eating its own fur, creating infection act that you're putting on is not you. It's just weird. And not weird from a judgment. It could be funny. And when you are a gazelle who's eating your own flesh, it's like, be like, okay, guess I'm being a gazelle eating my own flesh. How much fun can I have with this? How much more flesh can I eat off myself? How much more can I ruin my life? How much more can I judge myself? You know, and then start ripping off more pieces of flesh. But at least own it. You know, if you're going to be pathetic, at least own the pathetic. Okay? But it's like you gotta look and you gotta realize, I'm not pathetic here. I'm not this weird, pathetic person who just doesn't get things and doesn't get access and doesn't get the tools and can never get anything right and only has a small little tiny business, or, you know, only is willing to do this and is always willing to just make my husband or my wife happy because that's what I do. And it's like, okay, you have found these tools, they're a gold mine. It doesn't mean that you have to be perfect in them immediately. These are some of the most difficult concepts to put into practice on the planet. I will effectively say that. But you can, or you wouldn't have come across them. Okay? So they're amazing concepts. They're extremely advanced concepts. They are such advanced concepts that they can't even be understood by people in this reality. I'm sure each of you has tried to explain these tools to somebody in this reality and had a very awkward experience that didn't turn out very well. Okay? It didn't turn out very well. And that's because it's so advanced. And because you are advanced. Now, just because you don't have a PhD in it yesterday, after having found it 2 months ago, that doesn't mean that you're messed up. It means that you have a lot of work ahead of you if you are willing to take it up. And it means that everybody around you is a flesh-eating gazelle, has desired to be a flesh-eating gazelle. You know, they're even biting their boobies off. I mean, who bites their own boobies? That's just bizarre. Okay? So when you've come across people biting their own boobies off, you've got to go, okay, weird. I do that too, because this world taught me to do that. I like doing that. I'm a self-boob eater. Do I really want to eat my own boobs? Or do I want to go out and be the lion and create a great life for myself and a great world and a great sense of living where I don't even know what day of the week it is because it's just so wonderful how fast things are moving, how needless I am, and how different I am in my possibilities. And everything that is right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Dana says, why do I attract the flesh-eating gazelles? Well, what do you love about attracting the flesh-eating gazelles? Everything that is times a godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pod and poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So has anybody projected at you that you're a flesh-eating gazelle? If you're on here, Dana, you can answer. Everything that is times a godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay? You're not a flesh-eating gazelle. Okay? You're not a flesh-eating gazelle, and what need do you have that is creating this place of having needy people in your life? Everything that is times a godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pop, poc, shorts, with you. Dana says no. So people do not accuse you of being a flesh-eating gazelle. Do they accuse you of being too dominant, too aggressive? I mean, it's like, okay, so have you made yourself wrong for being too dominant and too aggressive, Dana? No. Okay, great. So if you have not made yourself wrong for being aggressive, then why are you not just chasing the gazelles out? Why would you keep them if you have no problem being aggressive? All right. So everything that brought up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Feeling guilty. All right. So are you truly willing to be dominant? Or are you still would rather have distractor implants dominate you? Guilt is a distractor implant. Okay. Where's my distractor implant book? It's not here. Anyways, I was just going to show you guys the title. Living Beyond Distraction is one of the most powerful books in Access, and it needs to be absolutely studied diligently. I mean, people say they want to have a better life and a better reality, but I see people having these books sit on their shelf. The Access books actually have things in them that are not facilitated in any other class in Access. Like, Access is so big and broad-reaching and magnificent and humongous that each book has things you've never, ever heard before. Zeal says, would you like to facilitate that book? Hell yeah, I'd like to facilitate that book. I'll do it for, if we have 20 or more paying people, I will do the book. But we have to have 20 or more paying people. I would be happy to do that book. Because it needs to be studied. It needs to be dove into. It's not something that you can pock and pod 17 times and then you don't function from that anymore. It's not something you can think about pocking and podding. You know, when Dane first discovered the distractor implants, he took around a piece of paper with him everywhere he went with all the distractor implants written on it, and he pock and podded them as they came up. But he also did all the calls. The book is called Living Beyond Distraction, someone's asking, by Gary Douglas and Dane here. Living Beyond Distraction. Okay, so, I mean, this is not a one-stop shop, you guys. This takes some hard work. You know, Gary always says, you guys are not willing to work hard. You have to work hard at it. And you also, when you are willing to work hard, you usually end up working easy. And it ends up being really fun. But you've got to be willing to work hard. And you've got to be willing to study. You've got to be willing to learn. Okay? They're very important if you want to have a great life beyond everybody else. Zeal says, isn't it possible to just pock and pod once and it's gone? Not usually the distractor implants. There are certain things you can pock and pod once, but most things, you got to do it until it doesn't exist anymore. And you have to be aware enough to know, what it's going to take and be present. I used to do the opposite. I would go, okay, I'm going to pock and pod this 50 times every single day for 2 years. And then after 1 year of doing it, I would be over the thing and I'd still keep going. And then I'd get bored and angry. Now, I wouldn't really do it for 2 years, but I'm just saying I would go longer than I had to. But usually you have to go more than you do. You have to be present with how many times it takes to actually change something. not do it mindlessly and assign yourself a task. Go, okay, the task is I'm going to do this until I don't have this limitation anymore. Not I'm going to do this 1,000 billion times. Okay? You got to be willing to be present and follow what you know. Follow what you know. Okay? So, and be willing to change as you go. Okay? But it's like this book is something, these books are kind of the thing you maybe need to read. I've read, some of these books 4 or 5 times, and then you start to get it. Are you willing to commit to yourself? Are you willing to study to get yourself free? Okay? If you want to be a great facilitator, if you want to be fantastic and great, you gotta actually know the tools, use the tools, and use them to the point where you actually be them. Okay? And that might take a little bit more work than what you're used to, So, and how much of you thinking you can pock and pod something after you pock and pod it 7 times is you actually enjoying being a flesh-eating gazelle? Okay, so everything that is right and wrong. Way too much laughter from you guys on that one. Okay, so everything that is right and wrong, good and bad, all 9 pot and pock shirts, boys and beyonds. Okay.
Hey, Julia.
Hey, Sanjivani, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. I got your question, but you know what? I had them on a sheet and they deleted themselves, so please ask again.
Yes, I was just going through them and
Great.
I thought I'll ask them. Thank you first. Thank you so much. Really grateful that you're doing this call. It was an amazing title. It got my attention.
Fantastic.
So my question is, for us specifically where we live in India, you start a relationship based on need. Any relationship, like an intimate relationship, like a husband-wife, or a mostly, I'm not saying like a generic. But
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And once it's a few years, you're so used to doing it that way. My question is, what tools would you recommend to get out of it? I know, you have these tools to get out of it. And I've heard a lot of access people say, after pock and podding, you need to make a choice. You can pock and pod eternity.
You have to be willing to do things really different. Like you have to be willing to give a blowjob. It's like if a blowjob once a week keeps a lot of problems out of a relationship. Just saying. That's a really, really useful tool. I gotta tell you, it's like you got a problem, give a blowjob. Your problem's solved.
My husband's on the call. He's probably loving it.
Oh, fantastic. Smart man doing access. Brilliant. And smart to choose a woman who's doing access. All right. Yeah, it's like it's like we want to make it all like, oh, I have to do this. And we do the tools so heavily with regards to relationship that we don't even change the thing because we're just so heavy using the tools because we don't want to actually change it. We want to know that we're making our partner happy. We don't want to outcreate our partner. My screensaver on my phone right now is how can I outcreate Anthony? Anthony's my husband. I'm going to outcreate him in every sense. It's like, it's not about making your partner happy. It's about outcreating your partner. Okay? So, but if you want to outcreate your partner, you have to keep them happy. You have to give them what they need in order to have them not be bothered by you going out and outcreating them. Okay? So, blowjobs. And if you're not willing, I come across a lot of women who are not willing to give their husband a blowjob. They just have so many points of view. They're not willing to be a slut. I'm like, you married to them. How does that make you a slut? But they just think that a blowjob itself is a slutty thing to do. But it's like, if you have that point of view, that look at who is it? Suda has got this man over top of her watching the call. This is cracking me up. Hey, Suda. Like, man, I'm serious, you guys. It's like I come across all these women and they're not willing to give their husbands blowjobs. And they're like, that means I'm an abused woman. And that means that da-da-da-da-da. And yes, a lot of people have had sexual abuse and all that stuff. But that's why we have the tools to change it and not keep buying into that story over and over and over. So it's like, you've got to be willing to be the slut that you actually are. YouTube has this thing now, is this video appropriate for children when you upload? So I have to make a mental note to say, no, this video is not appropriate for children. I'm talking about blowjob sluts and saying the F word. But it's like, you know, put it in your calendar to do a blowjob once a week and see how much better your life gets overall. You know, because you have to receive to give a blowjob.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, if you're not, I mean, and I'm moving on to sort of everyone's Sanjivani, because I know you're hearing me, but it's like, if you're not willing to give your husband a blowjob, you've got to look at, okay, so what else is possible here? And okay, I'm being a little bit general. It's not going to be the answer for every single person. Don't go out and say, Julia said every single wife has to give every single husband a blowjob once a week. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. You have to follow the energy of your own life and follow your awareness. But a lot of what happens is we're following our awareness based on being the flesh-eating gazelle. So anything that will make us a lion, we shove out of our awareness, and we only go based on our little box of flesh-eating gazelle awareness, which isn't true awareness. It's like pathetic awareness, sort of. So we go from there. So that's why I'm saying blowjob, because it's mixing up where you guys are functioning from and what you guys are willing to do and what you guys are willing to be. It's mixing things up. But I mean, ask the question, if I gave more blowjobs, how much more money would I have in the next year? If I did this more, how much more happy would I get? And some of you will have to overcome points of view in order to do it. But overcoming those points of view will make the whole rest of your life a better place to live, And, what if you were willing to be out of significance about it? How significant have you made sex? Oh, it's so significant. Everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and create it all? Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot and pock, shorts, boys and beyonds. Awesome. So significant. And so what energy, space, consciousness, and choice can you be to be out of definition, out of limitation, out of control, out of form, structure, significances, out of linearities, and out of concentricities with your body, sex, and blowjobs for all eternity with total ease? And everything that is times a godzillion, let's destroy it and create it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot, puck, shorts, boys, beyonds. And for the men on this call, if you ever tell a woman to give you a blowjob because it's more conscious or because I said so, I'll wear your testicles as earrings. Okay? Not allowed. But it's like, what else is possible? What else is available? And what could be fun? And what could you add to your life that seems bigger than what you can handle? No pun intended. But no, I mean, sorry. Everything that brought up, can we destroy it and create it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot and pock, shorts, boys and beyond. But it's like, you got to look at it and you've got to be willing to be a different reality and a different point of view, okay? And it doesn't all come down to sex. I'm using sex to poke the bear, okay? Because sex does poke the bear. And it's like, when you are willing to poke your own bear and you're willing to actually do things different and not make yourself significant, not make sex significant, not do all the significances of Indian reality, which are so immense that it's like it's a fog of blackness. If you're willing to not make that reality a significance and you're like, fuck the whole culture, I'm going to be me, you know? And I'm going to use the awesome parts of my culture to my advantage, because there are parts of being Indian that are so fun and awesome. Use those to your advantage and get rid of everything else and live beyond everything else that doesn't work for you. Dr. Sanjeev is saying, is poking the bear another sexual innuendo? Yes, it's actually when a gay man pokes a very hairy, big other gay man. And it also means giving somebody a wedgie in access. So, there's a lot of stuff going on here. But, you got to fry your own brain. You got to do things different. And you got to use the tools that create lightness, not the tools that are significant, And, it's a lot of things. Sanjeev, did you have something? I think you have Sanjeev is eating. I'm going to mute him. He's eating very diligently. But it's like, what else is possible? What beyond this reality things do you have available? Where do you have to make these tools less significant? And where do you have to work a little bit harder? Which is not a significance. It's a choice to create greater and to do, and how can you make working hard be fun and easy and different? But there's things you're going to want to do, books you're going to want to read, classes you're going to want to take, clearings you're going to want to run. One of the most wonderful things Gary said is, if you have something that's really not working in your life, run a clearing on it, out loud or in your head, not just putting on a loop in the background, but out loud or in your head 30 times a day for 30 days. Okay? That's getting down, that's buckling down, that's being, okay, I don't want to be a weak flesh-eating gazelle in this area. I want to be a fucking lion. Now, what would I have to run diligently in order to start to break up some of this solidity? All right. Awesome. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our call. Sorry to those of you whose questions I didn't get to. I just wanted to kind of keep with this lightness and keep moving. I'm so grateful for your questions. And the other thing is, I am coming to India.
You mentioned about you coming to India, Julia?
Yes, I'm excited to come. I'm coming to Mumbai, and I'm doing Right Voice for You, 3-day class. And, I don't know where it'll go. Could go as crazy a places as this or crazier. And we're going to be at the Sea Princess Hotel in Mumbai in April. And also my super handsome, super powerful,
Cunnilingus giving.
He said he's here. He's here in his underwear. He says cunnilingus giving Anthony is going to be coming and doing a 3-day body class as well. So we are, we love India. This is our 3rd year in a row coming, and let's bust things up. You got to be willing to live different than the people around you. You got to be willing to have a different life in a different world, and you have the courage to do it. Otherwise, you wouldn't even contemplate having a greater life in the first place. You'd be making curry right now. No, and you can make curry and have a great life, but I'm serious. You wouldn't.
I love the curry part of it.
What's that?
I love the curry part of it.
Yeah, I know. And I love the curry. I can't wait to come and eat curry. But you wouldn't. You would be doing something that was average, normal, and real. You wouldn't be listening to me. You wouldn't be looking for a different reality. You wouldn't be here right now. Okay? So if you're wishing for something, if you know something else is possible, it's because you can create it. It's not impossible for you. Okay? So please use these tools. Have fun. be the difference that you are in the world. And, you know, I hope to meet you somewhere in the world soon. I got a world tour coming up, so there's lots of places. If you don't see me in Mumbai, you can find me somewhere else in the world. And Mumbai's class will also be live stream. So if you need to be in your kitchen cooking your curry, you can also live stream me from your kitchen. No.
And also, if I can just come in here and just let everyone know that we have a WhatsApp group for Julia's classes coming up. And please join that. You'll get more details on the class, on the venue, and everything else. And if you require hotels, if you're coming from out of town, Suruchi, Isha, and I are here, more than happy to help you with all of that.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a wicked host team. You guys are killing it, and they will really have your back and help you book things and really be there for you. So I'm really grateful for Shanana, Isha, Suruchi, and everybody else who's on the host team. And what else can we create? What would you guys like to have as a future that nobody else is capable of? Okay? You are amazing. And are you willing to know that? Or are you only willing to be a human? Or act like a human? Or a flesh-eating gazelle? Okay? It's possible for you, but nobody's going to choose it for you. Nobody's going to do the work. Nobody's going to do it for you. And if somebody wanted to do it for you, you would rebel against them so diligently they wouldn't even know which way to see. You know, we rebel against people who try to help us anyways. So it's like, this is your life. This is your future. And you have what it takes to create it. All right? You guys are amazing. Thank you for being on here. Thank you for being so present and with so many great questions. And we will see you again and have an awesome Christmas. And what is Diwali? Has that passed?
Yeah, Diwali's just gone by.
Okay. Happy belated Diwali. And I'm super grateful for you guys. And how does it get better than this? Awesome. Bye, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
Julia.
you.